everyone. Jane here from Your Weight Loss. And today we're talking about heavy weekends. Hello, Alicia.
Hello, Jose.
I am currently looking into going to Les Îles de Madeleine.
Well, I saw that on your Facebook. I was like, I can't believe she didn't tell me. I don't know what this is.
Okay, so it's a tiny, tiny island owned by Quebec. And it's about an hour flight for us, like with Jeff's plane. So that would be probably like for a normal person flying there, or a normal flight, I guess would be way less. So that's to tell you how close it is to us. That's why I'm saying this.
Okay.
So we've never been, and usually you would take the ferry from PEI.
Okay.
So because you would want your car there.
Right.
So what did I want? So basically, this is why, because I obviously want to travel the world right now.
Yeah,
that's how I
You don't have to tell me why. You're like, what can we do next? How can we have fun? How many people can we touch? Where?
Jeff is like, you're next level. So I'm listening to a DCL podcast, Disney Cruise Line podcast, and they had just gone to Alani. Anyways, it's basically the Disney resort at Hawaii. And I'm listening to it because I just want to listen to everyone that's traveling and how great their trips are. Like zero jealous, just inspirational.
Okay.
And I just love hearing about people on vacation. Like it just like, and especially Disney, anything Disney. I'm like, oh, tell me about all the people you saw. Anyways, he was talking about what's the best time to go to Hawaii. Would love to go to Hawaii one day. So I'm like, ooh, interesting. So basically it's like the opposite of when you would usually go on a trip. So he's like from May to December is when he's like September so hot, October so hot and dry. So I arrived and I was like, should go to Hawaii in October. He's like, we're not going to Hawaii in October. I'm like, for a month. I'd like to go for a month, please. I'd like to move there. But at the same time, it's fun because that doesn't take away from other types of vacations that you need to do in March to get the warm weather, right? You could they could coexist with another trip.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is what I want once we are ready.
So all of this you've told me, which I appreciate, all of this extra information, none of which is telling me about this little tiny island that you're going to.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I've heard only good things. I guess the people are really nice. Food is like, it's just like this tiny, like it's like this little tiny, I guess like the people that live on the island are like super sweet and super chill and super like, it's just this, you don't go, I think you would go for a couple days, maybe.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll send you some pics. Like it's beautiful.
That's fun.
Also would be a beautiful, obviously I'm looking into where can we fly right now. We're not going to fly to BC though. You know what I mean? Like with Jeff's license. So I'm like, okay, what are the places that we've never been that are flyable for us? And also with COVID and everything. So anyways, we had talked about Les Îles de la Madeleine before COVID. So it's like, I guess an easy flight, but Jeff was like, it's so windy there. Like it would have to be the more specific, perfect weather for me to feel comfortable. And it's also a lot of time over water. So he said like, you need to like understand that it's over water. We're going to have to go 10,000 feet. Like it was just like, it's a lot. It would be like a big moment.
I'm out. Please don't go. I can't do life without you. Absolutely not.
Listen, and then I had Jeff's iPad next to me at bedtime and it like fed ding. And I was like, oh, I could totally see if he had a lover. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So someone texted and it was his like, we like own the plane with another guy. But the other pilot was texting about Île de la Madeleine. He's been there many times with the plane. And he's like, I just see him. He goes, there's a 7-8 minute period where you will land on water if the engine dies. Like there's a 7 to 8 minutes of flying that you will not glide enough to make it to the next island. Okay. So he said, so I'll lend you 2 life jackets. That was the text.
Oh,
and I wasn't even like, I didn't even flinch. I'm like, we're going to make it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I guess the water's blue and I think this would be a fun little, I guess, and imagine flying over, right? Just like doing around the island. That could be really beautiful to fly over as well.
I support you.
Just one of my adventures that I'm planning that might not happen though.
I mean, it's so fun to plan adventures.
I know.
You love planning adventures.
I do. I really do. Anyway, so I said to Jeff, like, we're not staying overnight, so we don't need a hotel. So we don't need to like plan. Basically, he just needs to be like, you know what? I checked. And this Thursday, the weather's pretty perfect to fly there. Do you want to go? Like, that's
Okay.
basically how we're going to have to make it. So that's why it might not happen as well.
Okay.
And then people are like, you need a car. And I'm like, do they have taxis? And then someone's like, they might, but I don't think it's the appropriate way to do it. And I was like, I don't know. Whatever.
Complicated.
Maybe it's too complicated, Alicia. Maybe I won't go. Who knows?
I mean, things like this require us to get out of our comfort zone, right?
Well, what I had initially heard about this island is that you basically get there, and even if you don't have a car, you just hitchhike. And the islanders are so nice. I guess it's a tiny, tiny island. And you
Like,
just
how many people live there? How tiny is this
okay,
island? I need photos. I need more data.
Oh my God, it's so pretty. The Madeleine.
I assume everyone speaks French there.
Absolutely. It's Quebec. It's owned by Quebec. 12,000 people.
Okay.
12,000 people is their population.
Okay.
Someone said, obviously the food is like sitcom homemade. I guess it's a little paradise that people don't know about. So I'm like, well, let's go and see it.
Well, now they know about it.
Exactly. Now everyone knows. Everyone's going to be going.
The whole world
will be good. I don't even know if they have like a full airport. Like I don't know. I don't know how the humans get there.
I'm not going.
Other than I would never get on a ferry. I am more scared of dying and sinking with the ferry and like being sick than flying there. Who am I?
Dying and being sick are two very different situations.
Both very scary, Alicia.
It's true. Yeah. The vomiting for you, vomiting is like your worst.
Scary
fear.
as dying for me. Basically, if you vomit, I'm dying at the same time. So that's why it equals the same.
That should have been our fun fact that we did yesterday about you, your fear of vomit.
I do feel like everyone has that fear.
Nope. You're next level. Yeah.
I am so next level. Like if you're in my car and you're a bit pale, I'm like,
yeah, no.
Also, just like as a teacher, that's why, like, do you remember how bad I was?
Yes.
Oh my God. Poor pale students wearing green shirts. I was like, are you okay? It would like reflect on their face. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, you look green. And then they'd be like, I'm fine. I'm like, you don't look fine. Do you need to throw up? If you need to throw up, you do not have to ask anything. You run. You run as fast as you can. You do not throw up in this classroom. Do you hear me? They're like 15 years old. Anyways.
Okay. So I want to know this. When your kids obviously have thrown up because kids throw up. Are you like, it's okay, puke all over me? Or are you like, don't touch me?
No, I step up. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually it happened not too long ago where Dia was car sick in my brother's car. No. And my brother is next level on top of me. Come next level. There's Jose level and then there's Kevin level. Okay. He walks. I can see him. Okay. He had brought Dia, but what happened is Zach was watching the iPad. Dia gets car sick and she was sitting beside him. And obviously my brother thinks he drives a race car.
Yes.
So he probably in the little back roads in Cornwall, she basically vomited right when he turned into our driveway. Okay. So he storms out of I'm like, hey, was it fun? So I like walk outside. He goes, Dia just vomited everywhere. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I know how he's like, whatever. But I didn't even flinch. I think if it's my daughter, like my kids, there's no getting out of it. I'm the only human that can clean this with Jeff. Yeah. Jeff is also like totally fine with it. So I'm like, and then my brother, he's outside. Okay. I'm like, stop. Like, you're not even in the car. Like, stop right now. He left his car in my yard and walked home. He couldn't get back in the car, even after it was clean. He's like, I can't, I need to walk home. I need to do fresh air. Like you did nothing.
That's a great story.
Oh, such a fun, like such a so funny. I'm like, oh my God. And the next day he was like, I'm so sorry. Like I was just out of control. I'm like, I know. And I'm like, I apologize. Like it's not fun. Like if his kids vomited in my car, I'd be like, oh geez, Ola, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, not her fault at all. Like he like is totally sympathetic for that. But he's like, I could not. Like he's like, I could not. Anyway, so Jeff just took out the pressure washer and I mean, it was legit the tiniest amount. Like I didn't even flinch. Like it was totally fine. But when it's your own kid, I'm like, okay, but like if you vomited or even if Jeff vomited, I would not be okay with that.
No.
We almost like didn't make it because of him vomiting when he drank. Like as a couple.
Yeah.
Like I was going to leave him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get annoyed with Neil when he's vomiting when he's drank, but it's because he turns into like an animal. Like it's like
he's metamorphosing in that's his time at midnight. He more in an owl or something. You know what I mean?
I must say though, Neil is like I can't remember. Like he doesn't throw up often. Like maybe once a year, maybe. Like I can't remember the last time.
So Jeff and I have been together since we're 16, right? So we've gone through those years of drinking and going out and whatever, and he's always been sick. Like he's obviously like somewhat allergic to some, like it's not normal. Like he wasn't even that drunk and would still vomit big time. No, like over and over multiple, like could not stop. Yeah.
Not fun.
So I was like, this obviously like my fear of vomit plus just me not drinking. And like, then you're just a mess the next day. Like I'm not having kids with you, though. Like you're not the father of my children. If this is what you're going to be doing.
I'm glad he pulled it together for you.
Pulled it together. He stopped drinking to that. I think he just like knows his limit now. And he also like sticks to beer or sticks to whatever. Whereas like when we were young, he would drink all the things.
I mean, that's also like partly just being 16. Do you know what I mean? Like if he was drinking beer now and still vomiting like that, then I'd be like, yeah.
I mean, he almost was sick on Sunday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's so odd to me because it's like after a good night's sleep, like he woke up at 9. How can you be sick at 10 a.m.? That's weird. I think you should be sick in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? It like attacks your body. You're like, shit. Know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very different. It really depends on the day, what you drank, how much, if you ate, it's a whole formula that I need years to teach you.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. We're already talked for 12 minutes.
We're doing a great job.
But we're doing a great job talking about heavy weekends, you guys.
I mean, they love learning.
They love
more
hearing about us
and our lives.
All right, stay tuned, everyone. Maybe by the time you've heard this, I've already been to Les Îles de la Madeleine.
Maybe.
Okay, you guys. So we wanted to talk about heavy weekends because I've recently had a heavy weekend and it became this live that I did on the community group. And there's a few little aspects to it that we want to talk to you about when it comes to like having a heavy weekend.
So define a heavy weekend first.
Okay. A heavy weekend is multiple days of feeling very full and knowing that I overate. I don't have a number. I don't have like I ate 10,000 calories. I just know that it was heavy. Like, and it's not just one day. It's like 2 or 3. So it could be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just Friday, Saturday, or just Saturday, Sunday. But we know when they're heavier than other weekends.
And often like those heavier weekends come from when there was like a social event or like a weekend away or, you know what I mean? Think of those times. I mean, it can be just in your home as well, but a heavier weekend is for sure. It's like multiple days of being in a calorie surplus. And how do you know? You feel it. Like you feel full.
You do. Yeah. And while it's happening, you know you're being excessive. I want to say excessive. Like that's basically, I'm like, man, Jose, t'as exagéré. Like you're exaggerating the amount of food you're eating. So it's not about like, oh, you exaggerated because you ate ice cream. No, you exaggerated because you ate 4 extra large ice creams. Like that's a heavy weekend, you guys.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation we want to have is, especially in the summer, having heavy weekends plus many little events during the week will ultimately add up and you're going to end up in a surplus and you're going to end up with weight gain, you know? And so it's about you can't win them all. Some weekends you will be more reasonable. Weekends should be in a surplus, like are most likely in a surplus. The thing is that we as humans and as overweight humans, we are exaggerating the surplus, and we need to ask ourselves why. Like, why are we doing that? Is it because you felt deprived all week and now you want to give her? I have to say that last summer I rocked the whole no more labeling the days, because there's just too many things for me to have a heavy weekend and then a lunch on the Tuesday and then a supper on the Wednesday and then the camping on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the weekend before. Like, there's just too much. So I needed to go event by event and not, well, it's Saturday, But I do have to say, there's something to be said about going to lunch on a Tuesday and having a supper on a Friday. And when Saturday rolls around, you don't feel the need to overdo it, you guys. Like, we're telling you the truth.
It is the truth.
Yeah.
It is the truth. Okay, so how can a heavier weekend impact the scale? Let's talk about the scale.
Okay. Well, first of all, after consuming so much salt, carbs, and calories, the scale's going to go up. And some of it will be real and some of it will not.
And often when you're having a heavier weekend like that, like you're eating like later into the night than maybe you would normally, like guys, that plays a part. Like you physically, like if you got on the scale and then you ate a giant meal, you would weigh more. You didn't gain fat from your giant meal. You just put something that weighs something in your body. The same thing as water. If you got on the scale and you chugged a liter of water, you're going to weigh more after. Like they said, this is weight, right?
It's not fat.
Weight. So you will weigh more after a heavier weekend. A lot of it is excess water from extra sodium, carbs, eating later, maybe not drinking as much water, all those things.
Yeah. So you need to expect it. I think that sometimes we let our emotions play a role in the disappointment of getting on the scale on the Monday and being up 5 pounds though. Like that's devastating sometimes.
Yes, we've had members, say, "Oh my gosh, I've just worked so hard and I lost 12 pounds and now I had this weekend and I gained 5. Like, I can't believe I lost all this progress." And sometimes that can lead to people giving up
and making that 5-pound gain real when it was not real.
Like, guys, if you do some things, and that's the next conversation we're going to have about what to do next, okay? If you move on with your life in whatever way, you could legit be down 3 of those 5 pounds in one day. 2 of those 5 pounds. Because that wasn't real. That is normal scale fluctuation after you have consumed more carbs, more sodium, more all the things than you normally do.
So I just went through that weekend where I was 5 pounds up. And so the Friday, Saturday were heavy. On the Sunday, I started drinking my water and I moved my body. And I really was mindful of what I was consuming. And for me, it's not punishment, you guys. It's me being who I want to be and me returning to behaving the way I want to behave. And so the first day lost 2. The second day lost another 2. And then this morning, another 0.6. There's 0.4 left, and we're the
amazing.
Wednesday. So it just shows that but you need to go but that would have not happened if I had a Tuesday lunch, a Wednesday supper. So I had nothing this week. I know I cannot repeat what I just did, Alicia. If I have a heavy weekend this weekend, and then there's, right now we're obviously recording a little early, but we have a thing on Thursday. We have a thing next Thursday too. Like there's too many things. I will try very hard not to repeat what I just did, because I know that right now there's nothing, but there will be.
Yes, that's the thing in the summer is there's a lot of spontaneity that will come up as well. So,
yes.
To allow for more of those little events and allow for more of those spontaneity, it can serve you to not have those heavier weekends. And we're not saying don't enjoy, the cake and the whatever you enjoyed, but like maybe you ate more cake than what felt reasonable. That cake was good.
Oh, it was so good. And I had cake, I think, up until Monday. I think I ate the last bite. Like that. Oh man, c'était bon. I regretted bringing it to my neighbors. Honestly, I was like, oh my God,
Okay.
I gave away too much. But then I'm like, no, it's over. I'm also not a freezer. We know that. I don't freeze things. When people are like, you can freeze this. I'm like, oh, you don't know me. I don't freeze things. I just don't. I'm not going to eat cake. I'm not going to save cake for later. Like, no. That's just not me. Like when you get chocolate and you're like, I'm going to freeze chocolate. I just like don't understand it. I'm like, no, I'm going to throw it out. All of it out.
Do you know what is like more hilarious to me? Not that you don't freeze things, but how ridiculous you think that freezing things is. That's what's hilarious to me. Not that you don't do it, that you think it is like ridiculous.
I don't understand.
Anyone would freeze it.
Don't understand. My mom freezes nothing. So maybe that's why it's all about how you grew up and what you saw, right?
My mom's freezer, I kid you not, they have a stand-up freezer. If there ever is, this is what I do when I go to my parents' house. I say, if there was ever an apocalypse, I would come straight to your home.
Okay.
Like her freezer is like shoved full of things.
And do we go in the freezer as like our meal choice every day? Is that like, I don't understand. When do we eat these?
No, not every day. You know, when she doesn't feel like cooking, she'll like go and grab something out. She gives a lot to my brother. Like she just loves having a freezer stocked full.
I think it also comes with like, I don't even have stuff in my fridge. How can I have
This is
stuff
very
frozen?
true.
You know what I mean? I can't have stuff frozen if I have nothing in my fridge. I think you guys cook and then you're like, obviously, if you, let's say you make a lasagna, which never happens in my home, you're like, what am I going to do with these extra lasagnas? You know what I mean? And then you freeze it.
There's a lasagna in my freezer right now.
Oh my God, too much.
Waiting to be consumed.
Just waiting.
Okay, we were talking about, what to do next. So let's talk about that. How do you act after you've had a heavier weekend? And we kind of want to talk about two different pieces of advice, because sometimes people say, well, just go back to normal. And then, you know, other people will say something else, and what's right and what's wrong. And let's just have that conversation.
What we're talking about is we often hear, especially, we are also on social media, you guys. So we see all the things you see and we follow our own little people. And we, you know, there's a lot of fitness coaches helping people lose weight out there, right? So Alicia and I are not fitness coaches. We're just like two moms that have lost weight and are being so transparent and real, basically looking for other people like us, people that really relate to us. Usually do really well with your weight loss because they can see themselves. They really relate to how we live our lives, and they see that we're managing having kids and paying bills. And they're like, okay, yeah, these people are normal, and they figure it out their way. Not that I'm saying that fitness coaches aren't normal, but if the fitness coach that you're following is 22, has never been overweight, and lives alone in her apartment, I just feel like there's like this different feel to their lives than yours, right? So we follow those people. We see them on social media, and often I hear them say like, last night I went out to supper and I had wine. And you know, I had a salty supper, and then I like saw them go to the keg and they had like the salmon and vegetables. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's not heavy, girl. I went with the fry clam, Putin style, extra large ice cream after, you know? Anyways, and they're like, oh, I, ate more salt, feeling bloated this morning. What to do after that? Just get back to your life. Just get back to what you usually do. And I understand their intentions. It's to not feel, they're telling you the right things. Don't feel guilty. Don't be dramatic, which I love. I love that message. But there's also that piece of like, girl, your salmon and vegetable at the restaurant is not the same excessive weekend I just had. I do think that there is a piece to fitness coaches that have never been overweight that they can't even understand at what point you can consume calories on the weekend. Do you agree with me, Alicia Stafford?
Wow, first and last name. I actually couldn't agree more. And
What's your middle name?
Lynn.
Lynn? Okay, I'll remember next time.
What's your middle name?
Ann.
Okay. I probably won't remember.
Oh, think of your location person.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. Okay. People, and it's not even people that have never been overweight, people that have never struggled with their relationship with food.
Okay.
People that have never struggled with their relationship with food, people who have never had episodes of, let's be honest, let's just call it binge eating, like eating way past hunger. do not understand how a person could possibly consume legit 10,000 calories in an evening. So when they give you that advice, I like you said, their intentions I think are very positive. They want you to not feel guilty, and they don't want you to continue your life with an extreme feeling deprived. But they also possibly don't realize the extent to which you just consumed calories.
Yeah, like I truly believe like Jeff doesn't understand like, and there's that piece, you said maybe they haven't been on weight loss journey, but there is something to be said. When you've been obese or overweight or whatever, it means you've been in a surplus consistently.
Yeah.
So you've created habits of overconsumption. You've created habits and a mindset that allows you to act that way. And so for sure, just comparing with Jeff, who's never had a weight problem, I see him being reasonable naturally more than me. And I've been a healthy person for a friggin' long time, you guys, but I still have to talk to myself so much to not overdo it, because I could consume 10,000 calories in an evening or in a day for sure on a Saturday. And when they're like, oh, you went off track this weekend, like those people like worked out on the Saturday morning while you were like with your 3 children, like you didn't have time to work out because that's not how you live your life. And they have all this, extra time and like so much effort towards their body and lifestyle, because when you're 22 and living alone and you've never been overweight, you are not Mila. Like we are not living the same life. Like that's just honest,
Oh, take me back.
Take me back.
It's funny though, you would never appreciate. You wouldn't appreciate it now. Do you know what I mean? Like you had to go through the experience and the trauma of having 0 negative minutes in your life to appreciate having minutes back. And it's not even the time; it's also the guilt.
Oh, c'est un kind of guilt.
Anyway, whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But our point is that when you are getting this advice, if someone says just go back to normal, they might not realize the extent to what just happened. And we're not saying the next day, let us run for 3 hours, water, a gallon of water. But what we are saying is, do you know what? You just consumed a lot of calories. Your body can use up some of that today for the energy it's going to require to do its thing. Yeah. So don't eat until you're hungry. Like if you usually have a really healthy breakfast, but you wake up not hungry, it's okay to wait until you're actually hungry to have your breakfast.
They also need to understand like these fitness coaches also, everything's calculated during the week. So they're like, they know when they go back to their Monday that they're on track. Whereas normal humans that don't track, which these are the people we're trying to help. Okay. Maybe what they're doing there during the week is not, and lack of a better sentence, good enough. It might not be good enough to outweigh the 10,000 calorie Saturday, Friday you just had. And so these people have a system in place to be the fitness coach looking people they are, because everything's like, it's all set up and they've like calculated things and they're like, okay, I can handle, wine and salmon and vegetables at the restaurant because I'm going to go work out in the morning. Like they already have in place a system that allows them to maintain their weight. Let's have that conversation as well. Oh my God, I have so much to say.
Let's.
Yes. But like these people are trying to maintain their weight. So they're giving advice to just maintain their weight. Like, so they don't have to be in a deficit to undo, si tu veux, the Saturday they just had, which in their minds is like, oh, I feel bloated, where you like gave her and it's just not the same behavior.
It is not the same thing. No, for sure. And so if you are watching someone live their life who is not on a weight loss journey and you think, oh, how are they doing this? They're drinking wine, they're eating ice cream, they're doing this, they're doing that. Remember, if they are maintaining, then they are maintaining. They get to consume more calories every single day on average and achieve their goal. So definitely dangerous to be comparing someone's lifestyle that is maintaining to someone's lifestyle that if your goal is weight loss. We need to really remember that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like, if someone's like, "Oh, did you have a heavy Saturday?" And it's like, "Yeah, me too." That is so relative. Like, one person, that's your perception of your Saturday, but at the end of the day, you did not consume the same amount of calories, though. So,
That is an amazing point, and
yeah.
also, we have conversation with members all the time. They say, "I'm so much better on the weekend and I'm not losing." Well, your body doesn't care if you're being better. Your body cares if you're in a calorie deficit. So
For
it's
weight loss,
amazing
yeah.
that you're being better things are going well. But remember that your perception of what is good enough to be in a deficit might not be what is needed to be done.
Yeah, I know. And I think we're the no, it's this is not like bad news, but we're just being so more like real, I guess. Like
Yes.
we're more like, mate, like it's all good to say like doesn't matter what you do on Saturday. No, it does. Like if you have goals, like you have to understand that your behavior has rewards and consequences and puts you on a path. And if you see yourself living a certain type of lifestyle and you're not getting to your goals, you're going to have to adjust some things. And then you're like, but they told me. It's almost like, okay, when Weight Watchers like 0 points for fruit and vegetables, and you're like, you told me it's 0 points, but if you eat 17 bananas that day plus all of your points, you are not in a deficit though. Like, who cares what they told you though? Like, this is what your body's saying. So
Yeah, no, I think it is just so important that we really have that conversation more often
mhm.
about with people who have struggled with issues in the past with the food and their relationship with food. And I know that people who struggle with their relationship with food have moments of overeating in excess.
Yeah.
And we need to have the conversation and stop pretending it doesn't happen. I'm not saying you're bad, but it's just it's important to have that conversation.
I love that you just said have moments of doing that because again, someone that has not had a weight problem or creating that relationship with food, like these people, I told you, they have everything calculated. They're not like they're not having episodes of binging and chippets in their pantry like normal common humans like us. So that's why sometimes I feel like that advice. And also they're like living at the gym, 2 hours at the gym. Like there's just like other things that you really need to consider when you're seeking out help for weight loss, that you
Absolutely.
need to understand that people don't live the same life and you're not with them 24/7. So you don't
No.
know exactly, and you don't have a calorie count for them. No.
No. I was listening to a podcast and it's this guy, which is funny because he's a guy and he's single. But he like works a lot with women and he talks all the time about the expectations on like a woman and a mother that has kids and how it is he coaches them so much different than someone that lives alone in their apartment that can control every single food item that comes in the home, that can dedicate that time. He's like it's just a different conversation.
Oh, I love that. It is very much a different conversation.
It really is. So make
It's
sure you're a part of the right conversation.
Oh, I like that. Make sure you're talking to the right people that can actually, I guess, help you with
Yeah,
your current situation. Absolutely. And as much like we have tons of members that are young, that don't have kids, that whatever, but they feel still they relate to us more. And the type of behavior that we deal with and that we help out with strategies, they relate to that, because they have been overweight and they feel more about how they relate to us more, even if we're moms and they're not. They're like, I can relate to you more than I can relate to the person that has never had a weight problem.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, this was a great podcast.
Yeah, I loved every second of it.
Me too.
Okay. I love talking. Okay, everyone. So, of course, join us anytime your way, oursupport.com, and follow us on all platforms TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And please, please share the fact that you are listening to us. We love our listeners. We love when you tag us. We love you.
We do.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.